He stood there with dust on his boots and pride in his voice. "Real men don't hide in sheds," he spat, glancing at the rubble where my workshop once stood. I didn't say a word. I just stared at the crushed memories, the splintered wood, the broken sign my father carved himself. I clenched my jaw so hard I tasted blood. He thought he won. That was his first mistake. For years I tolerated Jake, my wife's older brother. Loud, opinionated, always ready to measure masculinity by the decibels in his voice and the horsepower under his truck's hood. He mocked what he didn't understand. Patience, craft, silence. My workshop was sacred ground. My father and I built it over 2 summers, just the 2 of us, hammering through grief after Mom died. It smelled like cedar, oil, and memories. Every nail had meaning. After my father passed, it became my temple. I'd go there to breathe, to think. I'd spend nights building furniture, carving gifts, fixing what others threw away. It kept me sane. Jake called it my man cave, said it like a curse. The marriage began to rot slowly. My wife grew distant. Whispers with Jake turned into long conversations behind closed doors. I was being edged out of my own life, one passive-aggressive comment at a time. Still, I never imagined betrayal would wear a bulldozer's face. It happened when I was out of town for 3 days, a work trip. I came back to a leveled patch of dirt where my world used to stand. Jake was proud of it. "She wanted it gone," he shrugged. "Did you really think you could hide in there forever?" he laughed. She didn't stop him. She didn't warn me. That's when something inside me snapped. Not like a scream, but a click. Quiet, precise. I didn't yell. I didn't plead. I nodded slowly, walked past the wreckage, and entered the house like a ghost. And then I began. I pulled out the land deeds, double-checked the lines, the signatures. I knew what I'd find. My father was a meticulous man. He had transferred the land to me before he died. Not just the workshop, the entire acre behind the house. My wife never knew. Jake certainly didn't. They thought it was hers. Wrong again. For 6 weeks, I played dumb. Let Jake gloat. Let my wife sleep easy. Behind the scenes, I moved like a scalpel. I contacted my lawyer. I hired a private appraiser to document the damage. I had photos, videos, blueprints. I had every receipt from lumber to lacquer. Then I pulled county records and found the nail in Jake's coffin. He hired an unlicensed crew. No permits, no authorization. Just brute force and arrogance. The lawsuit hit him like a brick through his window. Demolition of private property. Unlawful trespassing. Destruction of historical family assets. The numbers were cold and crushing. 6 figures minimum. I named him personally responsible. Not my wife, not the hired crew. Jake. He tried to fight it, brought that same cocky grin to court. It vanished halfway through the first hearing. I watched him sit across from me, no longer smug, just sweating through his cheap suit. His lawyer whispered urgently. He shook his head, furious. Then I showed them the photos. The last one was me and my father, smiling beside the finished shed. I let that image hang in the air. Jake's face turned gray. My wife never spoke during the proceedings, not once. She avoided eye contact like it burned. By then, I'd already filed for divorce. Quietly, strategically. The papers were waiting for her at home. I left the courtroom with the judge's ruling in my favor, and Jake's financial ruin trailing behind me like a shadow. Assets seized, property sold, bankruptcy filed. The man who mocked my sanctuary was now begging for extensions. Months later, I visited what was left of his house. A foreclosure sign leaned sideways in the overgrown lawn. I parked across the street and just sat there. No music, no words, just the echo of justice. He came out limping, shoulders hunched, face pale. He saw me, froze. I didn't roll the window down. I didn't wave. I just looked him in the eye, let him feel what silence really meant. You see, real men don't scream. They build, they protect. And when someone tries to burn down what they built, real men bury them in the ashes. The new workshop stands taller now. Same footprint, same sign over the door, built by blood and hands. But now there's a security system, cameras, reinforced locks. Not because I'm afraid, because I know men like Jake, and I know exactly how to destroy them. Not with fists or fury, but with facts, patience, and a signature on the right line. My father taught me that. Jake just reminded me why. End.